7. Lorraine is at Happy Harbor Comics this morning, warming up her superpowers for the upcoming collectible toy and comic show. Morning, Lorraine.
Okay, so Mike, imagine you're in Mexico, you've had a margarita, you wander into a toy store, and you see this with dust all over it.
Ay, caramba.
So take us from there.
Well, I was visiting some friends, and they took me to this old little toy store, and I walked in, and there was this this package of Mark's superheroes from 1967 still sitting on the store shelf for a nice, affordable Mexican price.
Yeah, and so Shane, you knew that this wasn't just any dusty old package of plastic.
It's true. I knew right away that these were the old Mark's toys from 1967, so I had to pick them up.
What are they worth?
Probably between $100 and $200.
About $200. We won't tell you what Shane paid for it, but we will say Timmy's coffee, maybe. And you just have to know what you're doing when you're shopping. That's what it boils down to. When we come back, we're going to tap into this man's brains, see some of his collection. One of these toys is worth over $1,000. Can you guess which one? We'll be back to show you and explain why in just a few minutes.
Past 7 on your Friday. Time to get happy. At Happy Harbor Comics this morning.
Yeah, Lorraine out there today getting the inside scoop on what's in store for a collectible toy and comic show that's coming up.
We could make you happy. We could put a smile on your face if you're going to do some spring cleaning and you come across toys like this, okay? We're going to start with the older toys. One of these boxes, one of these toys, games, is worth over $1,000. Can you guess which one? Just feast your eyes. 4 from which to choose, and if you zero in on this particular one, you'd be right. The question that begs to be answered is, why?
That one in particular is a Sears Canada exclusive, and it was actually sold through some smaller store chains as well, but it was only available in Canada. It's a Canadian version of an international playset. Plus, it's a special offer, so it came with 2 Stormtrooper figures, which normally it didn't come with, so that particular one is worth a fair bit.
You're telling me if you're shopping, Shane, look for signs like this, because it means that it is special, and look also for Canadian. Why is that?
Well, a lot of the old Kenner toys, they do special offers, which meant there was something unique about it, and it was often available only through a certain store chain or a retail exclusive. Canada in general had a lot of different store exclusives through Sears and Consumers Distributing that are highly sought after by collectors around the world.
Now, tell us about the Transformers. Why are they collectible?
Transformers have always been a very popular toy from the 80s. You know, they're very collectible because so many kids grew up with them, and that nostalgia wave carries on into now. Plus, they're really hard to find complete. They come with so many tiny little accessories and things like that trying to find them mint and complete is very difficult. And well, when you've got a big, huge blockbuster movie that just came out and a sequel coming out this summer, it makes for very hot, popular toys.
You say collecting toys is really big among girls, too. Take a look down at the My Little Pony. Now, the fact that the one is still in the box, would that make it more valuable?
Definitely. Old toys, you know, people played with them. Nobody was thinking, hey, I'm going to keep my toys in the box.
And make money.
And make money. And it wasn't even about money. People just, you know, didn't think to keep things in the box. Toys were meant to be played with. So finding toys from the 80s still in the original packaging and 70s and 80s is, you know, what everybody looks for.
But note to self, if you have a toy right now and you think it might be a collectible, it might be worth buying 2 if you could afford to. Keep one in the box.
It's true. You know, with modern toy collecting, a lot of people, there's so many people doing it, though, and there's so much produced that it's not going to be...
Smarter.
They are getting smarter, and it's not going to be worth quite as much as the stuff back in the day from when people weren't thinking that way.
So then here's the question. If you've got toys or board games and you're thinking, are they valuable, aren't they? There's going to be a panel at this show this weekend, and you're going to be able to plug in. Well, it's not this weekend, it's next weekend.
It's next weekend, yeah. It's Sunday, March 29th.
Okay, so then you're going to be able to go down, you're going to be able to get information from the pros, and then you'll know. Don't toss it or don't sell it for too little because you might be selling yourself short. When we come back, these are the older collectibles dating back to the 80s. What about present day toys? Are they collectible? We'll find out in just a few minutes.
All right, then.
Some good questions. Awesome.
I don't like
Thanks,
these
Lorraine.
shows because I realize what a fool I've been over the years.
To toss out all those toys. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know. I got so many wonderful things that I've just trashed. You know, Chris?
Well, I never had wonderful things. Mine were like Barbies with cut hair and, you know, my brother rip off the head. So I really didn't have collectibles, but some people still do. Pretty good.
Alrighty. 7:53 now on your Friday morning.
Back out to Happy Harbor Comics.
Yes, Lorraine's location today. So she's telling us why it's never too late to bring out the child in you.
Oh, no kidding. And right now, think retro, Andrea and Shay, because everything that's old is new again. But here's the twist.
Retro's
they
in.
want it to look old, Take a look down. I'm not quite following along with that line of thinking, Jay.
Well, of course, a lot of stuff like Shane was talking about in the first segment is still becoming very popular again with people who've grown up and kind of want to recapture the youth a little bit. So they make new toys. They make toys today in celebration of the original stuff, but they make them to look like the original stuff. So you can see the Indiana Jones and the Star Wars, they're still made to the same scale. They kind of have that same stiff level of articulation, meaning the number of joints. They don't have very many joints, so there's not a lot of posability to them. And it just kind of helps people recapture that, you know, oh, I had these when I was a kid. They're so cool.
So are they collectible?
They are in some cases. There's a lot of things that are done like this one here, actually. You know, it's an exclusive, again, through a certain company that produces them, so there is a greater demand for them. They're not as readily available as most toys on the mass market. And then there's just some toys that are always more popular than others, and that always increases the collectability of them as well.
So what about the scale? These are smaller figures. These are much larger ones.
Of course, back in the 70s and 80s, things were quite often done on a smaller scale with some rare sections, but today, bigger is better. And you can see as the toys go from the 3 3/4 inch up to the 6 and 7 inch scale, you can see the level of detail, the amount of accessories, the little odds and ends that come with them. They come with, you know, figures coming with extra hands and weapons and all sorts of stuff. And still, again, even the newer stuff, in some cases, you know, paying tribute to the old things, Battlestar Galactica, of course, the new versions of it. And then a lot of things that are just popular for us today, Halo, World of Warcraft, you know, just really, really hugely popular things.
And then talk about something that just came out of the blue, no real reason for it, but they're hugely popular, the vinyl.
Vinyls are massively popular. You go to conventions and they are some of the most, you know, densely packed booths with customers. Basically taking your favorite things, your Transformers, your G.I. Joes, your superheroes, and morphing them into these bizarre, unique shapes. A lot of them refer to the super deformed. They're something started by the Japanese, made its way over here, and people just love them. They just look cool. They look funky. They're very unique and different and fresh.
And in a lot of cases, we can't even relate to the figures. It's just that they are collectible, and some come out as superstars as opposed to others. That's where you need to talk to an expert to learn about that. And you'll learn things like this playset that we showed you earlier, Andrea and Shay, which is old, is worth about $1,000, but had it remained intact and sealed, and had they not played with it, it would be worth, instead of $1,000, close to $3,000.
Wow.
Yeah, but whoever
you
has
not-
toys like that left over?
Exactly, yeah.
Well,
yeah,
and that
play
was
it.
their point, especially back then, because people didn't even really know
Well, yeah,
about
for sure.
collectibles. A toy was meant to be played with.
Toys
That's
are toys.
right.
Now, when you buy something, you might well say, oh, I'm going to keep this in the box because this is an investment for me.
You never
Yeah,
know.
buy
That's
one to
right.
play with and buy another one to
Yeah,
stick in
exactly.
the attic, you know?
Yeah.
Those are the kinds of things that you're going to learn at this toy and collectible show. When we come back, it's also about comics. We're going to visit Comic Alley with some local artists in just a few minutes.
Okay, then.
All right, thank you, Lorraine.
So your Edmonton Collectible Toy and Comic Show goes on Sunday, March 29th at the Shaw Conference Center.
From 10 until 6, and you can visit their website through a link on globaltvedmonton.com. So I guess I shouldn't have thrown away that Mrs. Beasley doll, no matter what poor shape she was in.
No, hang on to that.
Should have kept her. Shucks.
Let's go back over to Lorraine, who's at the Happy Harbor Comics this morning, warming up for a super